We'll begin with the prayers. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramarthanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. This is the title of the 18th chapter. The primary focus of this chapter is to have liberation from the misconceptions we have about our body and about our mind as our real nature. This is the main objective of this chapter. How Lord Krishna tries to explain to drop our notions is a very unique method. This is a method which he has followed right from chapter 2 onwards to discriminate who we are as pure awareness and whatever we experience in our life as an object of awareness. So two fundamental points we should be very clear, which is mentioned in the Upanishads, which is mentioned in the higher text like Panchadasi. Number one, I am the consciousness principle. Awareness principle. That is my real nature. Whatever I experience in life, beginning with my body, beginning with the mind, beginning with the sense organs, the pranas, and then the world. This entire bunch of the drishyam, the seen world, is anatma. I am the drik, I am the seer, I am the consciousness principle, the perceiver, and whatever I perceive is anatma. This is the first distinction we have to make. And the second distinction is, I am a changeless consciousness being. I do not change, nirvikara. And I am the same all the time, nityaha. Yesterday I was consciousness, right now I am consciousness, tomorrow I will be consciousness, awareness. We must be able to separate the Atma from the Anatma. That is the main purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. Dukkha Nivrti, Sukha Prapti. I want to get rid of sorrow. I want happiness in life. These are the two fundamental goals of all human beings, wherever you are situated. In order to get this goal, I must do this discrimination in my own self. I want happiness, but that happiness is my nature. That is what Lord Krishna is teaching Arjuna. Understand your nature as pure happiness, pure consciousness. So the two fundamental points we should always remember in our life is, if you remember these 2 points, what is the benefit? I, the consciousness, I am never affected by whatever I experience in life. Whatever I experience is transient, temporary. Who am I? I am the permanent Nitya consciousness awareness principle. By knowing this consciousness as my real nature, I get the freedom. The wrong notion which is there in my mind is removed. That is the fundamental purpose of this chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita. Throughout the 17 chapters, we have, at the end of every chapter, we have said, this chapter is dealing with yoga, how to lead our life, and also this chapter has dealt with moksha shastra, yoga shastra, moksha shastra. If somebody asks you what is the central teaching of the Bhagavad Gita in one line, if you want to answer, you should say yoga shastra, moksha shastra. 2 words. Yoga shastra means how to lead the life peacefully. Moksha shastra, how to live in this life with freedom from the mind, freedom from the body. These are the 2 instruments which we possess. And the moment I come to know I am the pure awareness principle, I will be able to live peacefully. We have finished 19 verses so far in this chapter. And from today onwards, we are going to go to the section of understanding the 3 gunas. In chapter 14 of the Bhagavad Gita, we learned that we are a mixture of Prakriti and Purusha. Purusha is the consciousness awareness principle. Prakriti is the matter principle. Whenever I say we here, it means our waking state, when we identify with this body, we live with 2 principles, the matter and the consciousness. So what we need to understand is, what is this matter principle? Matter consists of 5 elements. The combination of these 5 elements is our body. The combination of the 5 elements, the subtle portion, is our mind. Matter, the 5 elements, when they combine together, they combine in 3 different ways: Satwik, Rajasic, Tamasic. It's a combination of these 3 ways in which the matter keeps on changing, transforming itself. In science, we know that matter is always changing. Protons, electrons, neutrons, there is a constant movement. Whether it is the body, whether it is the wall, whether it is the desk, there is these 3 elements: Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. In science, we say electron, proton, neutron. It is the same, but the Vedic Shruti talks about it in a slightly different way. Sattva means knowledge. When the 5 elements combine together and they form the organs of knowledge, which is the eyes, ears, the nose, the skin, the tongue, they react with the sense objects outside, and that is what is called as the interaction between the sense organs and the sense objects. So the organs of knowledge, when they interact, there is a pattern. The pattern is either Satwik, Rajasic, or Tamasic. Similarly, when the organs of action, they interact with the world, there is a pattern. Satwik, Rajasic, Tamasic. Lord Krishna wants us to understand this pattern, apply it in our life, so that we can lead a peaceful life. So he is telling us, he has taken 12 factors for analysis to explain to us what are these changing patterns in our body. It is only a knowledge given to us to understand who we are. I am not the changing body. I am the seer, the consciousness, Sakshi principle. If I can create the distance between the body and myself, between the seen and the seer, that is called as moksha. That is what is the overall purpose of this analysis of 12 factors, 7 factors in chapter 18, 5 factors in chapter 17. Now let us go straight to the 20th verse where we stopped last week. Sarva bhuteshu yenaikam bhavavyaya mikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu tat jnanam viddhi satvikam. So what are the 6 factors we are going to study? We have already studied what is Sannyasa, Satwik, Rajasic, Tamasic, Sannyasa. Now we are starting the second classification of Jnana. We are going to study Satwik, Rajasic, Tamasic. In the next 3 verses, this is our focus. Why do we take Jnana for this analysis? Our sense organs are all organs of knowledge. When we hear, it is knowledge from the sound. When we see, it is form and color from through the eyes. When we taste, it is the knowledge of through the tongue. Now, what are the 3 classifications of knowledge which happens together in our mind? Even though our sense organs individually, they bring the input to the mind collectively, uniformly gives us unitary experience. At the same time, I'm seeing the movie screen and I'm listening to the dialogue because my mind is the unifying factor. What is Satwik Jnana? See, in all these 7 factors which you are going to study, you must understand our own nature. Am I having Satwik Jnanam? Am I having Rajasic Jnanam? Am I having Tamasic Jnanam? How do I convert from Tamasic to Rajasic to Satwik? Here, Lord Krishna says that by which one sees the indestructible reality. As I said before, we all consist of the spiritual essence, the consciousness, awareness. So, if I am looking at you as a spiritual being, then I will say you are a conscious being. My mother is a conscious being. My father is a conscious being. My wife is a conscious being. We are all conscious beings. So the knowledge I'm looking of the world I have is what? We are all conscious beings. And that consciousness is the reality. What about the body and other things? Those are all incidental. My vision is of the consciousness. By looking at a chain or a ring or a bangle, I can have the vision of gold, which is one uniform vision, or I can have the vision of chain, which is a name and form, ring, which is a name and form, and bangle, which is a name, form, and function. What type of vision do I have? Do I have a gold vision that everything is one? Then my vision of the world is different. When I look at the whole world, do I see all the things the way my sense organs show me? Because the sense organs do not give me the right picture of the universe. They give me a wrong picture. Through the knowledge of the scriptures, I have to have the right vision. And when I have the right vision, I will be free. That is what is the message of Lord Krishna to Arjuna. That develop a buddhi by which you can see that everybody is a conscious being. There is one reality which is totally not destructible, immutable reality. Sarva bhuteshu enaikam, ena ekam. In all the beings, there is one consciousness. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu. Don't see the division. In all the divisions, you see the one factor. In the 7th chapter itself, Lord Krishna had taught this to Arjuna. Matha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam proktam sutre manigana iva. Like the gems are all put together in a string, like the different flowers are strung with a string. Similarly, the entire universe is strung in the awareness principle, consciousness principle. See, what happens is when we hear such verses and then we try to contemplate, it becomes easy for us to differentiate the consciousness from the mind in meditation. See, when my eyes are open and I'm hearing this, it's very, very difficult. When my eyes are closed, it becomes easier. Once you have done the analysis in your own mind with closed eyes, then it is easy. Oh, it is the same thing. Once I have understood how to ride a bicycle, I can ride in the middle of the busy street with hands left out. You can ride it because you have got the practice. So similarly, here we must get that jnanam, that I am the consciousness principle. I alone exist as I exist in my sleep state. The rest of the world keeps coming and going as per the physical bodies in the waking state, as per the subtle body in the mind, in the dream state, as per the causal body in the sleep state. You must always come down to the analysis of the 3 states and the 3 bodies. If you want to understand spirituality, this analysis must be done by you in your own mind. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktamiva cha sthitam bhuta bharta cha tat neyam grasishno prabhavishnu cha. This is the 17th verse of the 13th chapter. There also Lord Krishna says, one who sees the undivided in the divided beings, which means what? My sense organs will show division, like the chain, ring, and necklace. But in my intellect, I know all of them is one gold. In my intellect, I know all of them is awareness. In awareness, they rise. In awareness, they sink, they resolve. Therefore, awareness is the main. All the ring and the bangle, they dissolve in gold, they rise from gold. Use this example and arrive at the conclusion that I am that awareness and I am independent of the incidental gross body, incidental subtle body, incidental causal body. There is one common homogeneous substratum in all the objects and beings. The bhutas, the body, undergoes 6 modifications. Asti, jayate, vardate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. This is Tattvabodha. Body is born, it exists, it grows, it matures, it declines, and it gets destroyed. The physical body, not the consciousness. So the objects and beings are divided and they are different. But Atma is not divided. The space is not divided actually in all the pots, in all the rooms. It seems as though there is a small space in a small room, big space in a stadium, but space is only one. The properties of the body is different. The nature of the containers are different, but space is one. Similarly, consciousness is one. The body which we have is limited by space, by time, by objects. One Satchidananda is a single thread connecting the entire cosmos. This vision of unity in diversity is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. And if you have this uniform vision, it is called as Satwik Jnanam. Now, let's come to Rajasic Jnana. Pritatvena tu yajnanam nana bhavan pritak vidhan veti sarveshu bhuteshu tajjanam vidhi rajasam. So now next is Rajasic Jnanam. What is Rajasic Jnanam? You see, you must remember the background of Rajas. Rajas means what? Activity, passion, change. Sattva always relates to knowledge, Rajas to action. When you keep this, and Tamas to inertia, keep this knowledge of the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, then you will have no problem in understanding all these verses which describe Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas with reference to different factors. So Rajasic Jnanam, in the Satwik Jnanam, we said uniformity, unity. Rajasic is the opposite of that, seeing the difference. In what? In objects and beings. That means you are different, I am different, India is different, Singapore is different, Sri Lanka is different, America is different, China is different, each country is different. There is nothing which is one among all this entire drishyam. That is called as Rajasic Jnanam, which is what we all have if we don't come to the Bhagavad Gita. The sense organs are designed to see only the differences and varieties, each one distinct. specific. There are no two same fingerprints. Our eyeballs, iris is not the same. There are 1, 2, 3 billion people in this world. Each one's fingerprint is different. Can you imagine what a variety of creation this is? Amazing creation. Such a grand variety. No leaf is the same. No fingerprint is the same. No iris is the same. But in all this, what is common? What is common is the seer, the consciousness, the awareness. Who is seeing it? That seeing principle does not change. I was the same awareness when I was 5 years old. I am the same awareness when I was a youth. I am the same awareness today. I will be the same awareness tomorrow. That is called a Satwik vision. When I'm looking at the body or the mind, I will be Rajasic. And that Rajasic creates a problem for me. Why? Because it is passionate. It brings passion in me. My body wants to act throughout the life. This knowledge of the division is Rajasic knowledge. So whenever I'm in action, you must remember it is the Rajasic knowledge which is in action, not the Satwik knowledge. What is the third type of tamasic knowledge? Yattu Krishnavada kasmin kare saktamahaitukam athatvarthavadalpam cha tattamasamudakrutam. Whenever we are clinging to one object, as if that is the only thing which is important for us today. Suppose you start seeing the TV and you completely get engrossed in it, and then you think that is the only thing which is there, or whether it is, I'm just giving an example of TV, it can be the work at home, the office, it can be, Olympic running, if that is the only thing in life, that is what is called as tamasic jnana. You cling to one single effect as if it were the whole, without any reason, without any foundation. Very, very narrow-mindedness, selfishness, narrow-mindedness. That is called as tamasika, dull. Satwik jnanam is broad-minded. You see unity in diversity, all pervading consciousness in the universe. Everything is all God principle. When I open my eyes every day morning, I see nothing but God. That is called as a Satwik jnana. When I look at it from my own selfish point of view, I want this from the world, I want this from the world, I want to be happy, my family has to be happy. That is Rajasic jnana. Narrow-minded vision. Only my God is great. All other gods are different. That is Rajasic jnana. The third is Tamasic. You are stuck up with only one thing, one being. That's it. Nothing else in the world is important for me. That is called as being fanatical. You're totally divorced from the fact that everything is rising from one consciousness and going back to that consciousness. So this tamasic jnanam creates a problem for me. I work, I live without any reason, without any logic. Krishna consciousness means I only believe in Krishna. There is nothing else. All other gods are all, they do not exist for me. That is narrow vision. God manifests in different forms. I can take anything in creation and say this is God. That is what is Satwik jnana. comprehend. See, this matter, this can be applied to all our visions in our day-to-day life also. Suppose you take a company vision, you are working for a company and you take, okay, let's work for the goodness of the whole company. That is Satwik knowledge. And then you are a CEO, you represent the company, and then you give a broad vision and you work towards the broad vision, the broad goal. Whether it is a company, whether it is a society, whether it is a building, whether it is the whole country, or whether it is the United Nations, the whole universe. This is the way we can differentiate the three types of jnana. The comprehension or vision of the world is called as jnanam. What is the world I see? Is it a very limited world of only my thoughts, my own family, only that selfishness? Then it is rajasic. Atma is not broad, narrow, or fanatical. Atma is ever free from any vision. It illumines all the visions. That means what it says is Atma, the nature of Atma is such that whatever vision I have developed in my life, Atma is only the light which is illumining it. That light has not changed from birth till date. It has not changed from birth to birth also. Only the body has changed from birth to birth. Only the mind is changing from birth to birth. But the consciousness illumining the body and the mind has remained the same. And it is always free from all visions. So, with that, we have finished the second principle. Out of 7, we have done sannyasa. Now we have done jnana. Now we are getting into the third principle out of the 7 principles, out of the 7 factors. Now, in the next 3 verses, we are going to analyze karma, action. When we analyze knowledge, it is organs of knowledge. How to use the organs of knowledge so that I can become Satwik. Now, how to use my organs of action and how to be doing Satwik karma all the time. Then we will come to the karta. Karma is the action, but the agent who is doing it, that will be the next analysis. Niyatam sangarahitam aragatveshataskritam apala prepsuna karma yattat satvikam uchyate. So what is the Satwik action? Satwik karma. Satwik karma is free from attachment. When you come to Rajasic karma, you will say it is full of attachment. So here, what we are saying is there is no attachment to my action. This is what we have studied in the Karma Yoga. See how Karma Yoga now again we are revising. In the 18th chapter is only revision of the 14th chapter of the gunas and the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is now telling us when we combine the gunas along with Karma Yoga, it becomes a Satwik karma. Doing duty without expecting the results of action, where I don't give importance to the ego, that action as an offering to the Lord, who is the one who has given this body to me. The Panchabhutas are not my creation, it is the creation of the Lord. I am only an instrument of the Lord. Whatever he has ordained for me as per my role in the society, I will do it. The ego says that action is done by me. For me, it is selfish. That is Rajasic. But the vision of Atma, what is the vision of Atma while doing the duty? I am only doing a duty. The I is taken out. And then instead of that ego I, an instrument I, instead of being an agent, you become an instrument. Instrument means what? Tomorrow morning, I'm supposed to get up and do some duty for the family, for the society. I will do the duty the whole day. And again, go to sleep. Again, do the next day the duty, whether it is to your son, daughter, grandchild, whoever it may be. So the whole life is what? Duty driven, and you only do Satwik actions. How I can do Satwik action? Not by saying I am the doer, I am this doer of this action. This is an instrument. The body is an instrument. You see, there is only a change in the attitude in your mind. It is a cognitive change. This cognitive change comes about because of the jnanam. Atma jnanam changes the attitude of action. Aphala prepsuna. Aphala prepsuna means what? Without the desire for fruits. Sanga rahitam, without attachment. When you see the Rajasic karma now, you will understand what is Satwik karma better. Yattu kamepsuna karma sahankarena vapunaha kriyate bahulayasam tad rajasamudahrutam. That action which is done selfishly for our own purpose, with full of ego. I am the one who is doing it. I have to get that fruit of action. Ego is there every action. It is only the ego. I did this, I did this, I did this. When you work outside, you can say that I did this because that is what the society expects you to say. In an office, you cannot say my ego is not doing it, it is my Atma doing it. You cannot say all that outside. Outside, you have to say, yes, I have finished the job. That's it. The mother will say, I have finished cooking at home. But what here Lord Krishna is saying is not what you say outside. What you really think this body is doing. See, when you know that I am Atma, the awareness, and you need to keep a distance between you, the Atma, and the body, in your own attitude, in your own mind, this is what should be dropped. That ego has to be dropped. Then what happens is the body is acting in your mind. It is not to say outside anything. You do it with ego, then it's called passionate action. Primarily for the individual and his family. Primarily. And whenever you do such an action, it is for desire of gaining something. Lot of effort is put forward. Morning, 8 o'clock to evening, 10 o'clock, you're working for the family. I earn money for the family. Rajasic action. Initially, we all have to go through this Rajasic action. Suddenly, we cannot jump into Satwik and remain there. It is a gradual maturity of the mind. From tamas to rajas to sattva. What is tamasic action? Anubandham shayam himsam anapeksha cha paurusham mohat arabhyate karma yat tamasamuduchyate. Any action which is born of delusion, that is what is tamas. Without regard for the consequences. If I do this action, what will be the consequence? I don't think. I just do the action. Let me see what the result is. When the result comes, I will face it. Whether it is loss, whether it is injuring others, whether it is going to harm others, whether my own energy will be lost, my health will be gone, all that I disregard. It is not for the society. I'm going against the society, against the organization, against the institution, all wrong actions. You see, in the Satwik action, all was right action because it was followed by right knowledge. Wrong action, because of wrong knowledge, you do wrong action. See how the vision of Atma can change your vision of yourself and vision of the world. When Atma is involved, there is Satwik. Sattva is involved. So Jnanam is over, Karma is over. The next is Karma. So each of this is 3, 3, 3, 3. Sannyasa we did in the beginning. Then today we started with Jnana. Then we came to Karma. Now we get to Karma. Mukta sango aham vadi dhritya sahama samanvitaha siddha siddhyo nirvikaraha karta satvika uchyate. There are 4 factors you should consider when you are analyzing the agent, the doer of action. See, in this body, there is an ego. Now we are understanding the ego I. What is this ahamkara? You see, the mind consists of manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Chitta means memory, manas means the mind with emotions, buddhi means the deciding factor. And chitta is the memory, and ahankara is the ego I. Whenever you do an action, the ego in us tells us, oh, I have done well. Satvika karta has got these signs. He is free from attachment. He is non-egoistic. Mukta sangaha. Mukta sangaha means he is not attached to the results. Anahamvadi. Anahamvadi means he does the action without ego. No self-gratification. I must be happy in life. That is not the goal. We all should be happy. Dhriti utsaha samanvitaha. What is Dhriti utsaha samanvitaha? Perseverance with inspiration and enthusiasm. You don't keep on doing action the whole day and say, and cryingly you do it. No, you do it with full of enthusiasm. Perseverance, inspiration, you motivate others. If we do well, everything will be work out well. Keep motivating yourself and keep motivating the others around you. That is called as Satvika Karta. When you see the Rajasic and Tamasic, you will understand the nature. See, when Lord Krishna analyzes the 3 factors, the analysis of the factor becomes very complete. So you can see the complete teaching of how Lord Krishna is so complete in his presentation. Any factor he takes, he goes to the depth. Even when you want to understand, see, this type of study gives us an analysis of how our mind should think. How it also helps our thinking ability. How to use logic correctly, reasoning, not only in this study, also in our own life. That is the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita. Siddha asiddhyo nirvikaraha. Mind is not carried away by siddha. Siddha means whatever is success. Asiddhyo means not achieved, failure. For example, Rama, one day he was told, you are going to be the king. The next day he was told, no, you're not going to be the king. You're going to the forest. What a mind he must have had to say, yes, I will follow my father's command. I will go to the forest. That is what is called as Satwika Karta, full of enthusiasm, doing duty throughout the life. That is the nature of a person who has got a Satwik buddhi. Always remember, Jnanam is extremely important in life. Therefore, we say, if you know who you are, then all your actions will be governed by the knowledge you have. That is why Atma Jnanam is very, very important. Lord Krishna stresses right from the second chapter. Every chapter he says, this is Atma, this is Atma, this is Prakriti, this is Purusha. So all the 18 chapters, what did we discuss and what did we learn? What is Atma? What is Anatma? Every chapter we did this. Why do we do this? Because if I have that I am the awareness principle, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, obviously my whole pattern of living changes. So going back, Satvika Karta is Mukta Sangaha, is not anchoring over the results. He is not looking for joy every moment of his life because he knows that bliss is my real nature of Atma. I don't have to do anything. Anahambadi, ego is not involved. Dhriti utsaha samanvitaha means he works with dhriti. Utsaha, utsaha means enthusiasm. Inspiration. So when you get up in the morning every day, you tell yourself, let me work with full of enthusiasm and inspiration. It's a new day. Let me work together. Let me work in the best possible way today. If I have to attend the Gita lecture in the evening, let me do it. Completely be open. When you attend the talk like this, be completely open. Empty your mind when you come to the class so that all the knowledge which comes, it gets filled in your intellect. And then you are able to think, oh, this is what I have learned today. Whatever you listen in a class stays with you. Not only stays, the next day you are able to contemplate some 1 or 2 points. Then it goes into your subconscious mind. I am the witness principle. And slowly the mind changes, transforms. Rajasika Karta. Ragi karma pala prepsuho labdo himsatmako shuchihi harsha shokanvitas karta rajasa parikirtitaha. Who is a rajasic? That means passionate karta, the agent. The one who is greedy, impure, full of delight and grief. Either he is with delight or he is completely grieving. That means passion is involved in completely. Either he'll be jumping with joy or completely sobbing in sorrow. Both are bad. Samatvam, be equipoised in both joy and sorrow. That is the teaching. That is Satvika Karta. Ragi means full of selfish desires, attachments. Karma phala prepsuhu. Every action he wants result. What will I get? I have done this profit for the company, I must get 5% commission. All selfish actions. Labdaha, greedy. He wants others' wealth also. Own wealth he will not use. Himsa atmakaha, pretends as though he is going to help. You will find some people like that, but they will cause pain. They come to help you, but they cause more pain when they leave. So that is all Rajasika karma. Ashuchihi. Ashuchihi means mentally and externally he is very, very impure. Dirty clothes. His table is full of dust. He has got the table, everything on the table. If the table is not clean, your mind is not clean. If your table is clean, if your house is clean, your mind is clean, pure. That's your external circumstances are an indicator of what is your mindset. Harsha shokan vitaha. Harsha swings up and down. Elation at one time and next day depression. Again elation, again depression. This is called as Rajasic Karta. Very easy to understand because we are all Rajasic Kartas at one time or the other. Especially when you are young, we are all full of Rajasic Karta. Slowly as you age, you become a Satwik Karta. Especially in middle age, okay, let us just carry on. And then when it comes to old age, you become 100% Satwik Karta. Adhyatma Shastra to find and correct our own defects. This teaching of Adhyatma means our own nature, our internal nature, how we react, how do we act in the world, what type of jnanam we have. Am I a Satwik Karta, Rajasic Karta? Do I do Satwik actions? Do I have Satwik jnanam? All this is not to point the defect of others. See, Swami Chinmayananda gives this every time he talks about this type of analysis, whether it is the 14th chapter, whether it is the 18th chapter, he will still say, don't study the Bhagavad Gita to point fingers at all others. The Bhagavad Gita is only meant for you to point fingers at your own self. Correct our own self, then you will see the vision will change and you will be a happy person, peaceful person. Tamasic Karta is the worst type of Karta. Ayukta prakrta stabdaha shato naishkriti kolasaha vishadi dirga sutri cha karta tamasa uchyate. So once you have understood Satwik and Rajasic, it's very easy to understand Tamasic. What is that Tamasic? Ayuktaha. Ayuktaha means the mind is unsteady, not focused. You want to do this, suddenly you leave your duty and then do something else. Again, you drop, again, you do. Very unsteady, fickle mind. Prakritaha. Each word is important. Ayuktaha, prakritaha, stabdaha. Prakritaha means what? You show as if you're a refined person, but inside you know it is not. You're not a refined person. Your mind is full of delusions, uncultured, unrefined. Stabdaha. Stabda means he is always master of himself. Never will listen to others. Very firm in his wrong decisions. Even if the guru or the teacher or the father or the mother tells him 100 times, don't do this, he will still keep repeating the same thing again. Stabdaha. He goes only as per his thoughts. Not even 1% he will change. All this is to teach us, don't be lazy, don't be procrastinating all the time. Any type of tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow is tamasic. Remove the word tomorrow from your dictionary. Replace it with now. I want to do Bhagavad Gita now. I want to start chanting now. I want to do Panchadasi now. That is Satwik. So living in the present, living in the now is Satwik. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow is tamasic. Shataha. Shataha means he cheats others. He will tell something, do something. Naishkritikaha. Naishkritikaha means he presents himself to help you but will destroy you. Alasaha. Alasaha means lazy. Every day he will get up at 10 o'clock. A Satwik Karta will get up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning. Start with a prayer, half an hour of prayer, followed by some yoga exercises or some exercises. Then starts work, eats a moderate food, moderate in thinking, moderate in exercises, moderate in eating, all this in moderation. Never lazy. If you do all this correctly as per what, if you have studied the Bhagavad Gita and you have made your own personal notes, each one of us should make, when we study the Bhagavad Gita, we should say, okay, these points are good for me, let me follow. Especially now the new year is coming. 2022 is going to start. You should all make up 2022 goals. Forget about the way I lived in 2021. Forget it, it's gone, finished. Whatever I've done till this morning, this afternoon, before we came to the class, all to be forgotten. The beauty of life is that we all get a fresh day every day. Whatever we may have been yesterday, Lord gives us a new day to start our day completely fresh. We are dead to the past moments, finished, gone. I have a beautiful day today. Start with enthusiasm and inspiration. No more negative thoughts. Okay, what will happen to my body? What will happen to this? What will happen to the future? All that, you throw it in the dustbin. Learn. You see, our life, many times it is the same thought which goes round and round in the groove in the mind. Stop that groove thinking. Change the pattern of thinking. Start looking at it positively. Our problem is that we keep on running the same tape every day. Morning comes, we'll start with the same day. Oh, today also is like this, like this, like this. No. Tell yourself, I'm going to change. That is what is the benefit of the Bhagavad Gita. This 18th chapter is so beautiful. We can all transform our lives. Vishadi, continuously sad. Not one moment you can come out of that sadness. These are all tamasika karta. Dirgha Sutri. You are given a task, you take 3 hours to complete a task. Something which can be done in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you do it, and out of it, you take 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours. Keep postponing it. You're forgetful, lazy, sleepy. All this is tamasika karma. So Jnanam is over. Karma is over, karta is over. Now, karma chodana. What is karma chodana? The impellers of action. What are the impellers of action? The impellers of the actions are the karanams, buddhi and dhriti. And then last will be sukham. The goal of everybody is happiness. Jnanam nyeyam parijnata trivida karma chodana karanam karma karteti trivida karma sangraha. So this is what Lord Krishna said in the 18th verse. What did he say? Jnanam nyeyam parijnata. Karma chodana. Karma chodana means the impellers of action. The threefold impulse to action. Jnanam means understanding, comprehension, the vision. Now that is finished. Now what we are going to do is how to use our instrument called as buddhi and dhriti, willpower. Willpower is also an instrument we have. Very, very beautiful explanation of willpower is given here in the Bhagavad Gita. Buddhi is the faculty of decision making. How to use the buddhi correctly so that I can decide quickly, correctly. And always buddhi means vritti. It is a thought, the right thought is what I need. We are going to study the buddhi in Satwika, Rajasika, Tamasika, three modes. Similarly, dhriti, the willpower, perseverance, persistence, it is called as the buddhi vritti. It is the faculty in us. And all this, using all these factors, what do I get is ultimately sukham. Satvika sukham, Rajasika and Tamasika sukham. So there are 9 verses here. This is how it is split up. We will study some of these verses now. The most important here is the dhriti. When we come to dhriti, I'll explain to you a little bit more. Buddher vedam dhritischaiva gunatastribidam shruno prochamanam maseshena pratatvena dhananjaya. So here is an introduction introduction verse for the buddhi and dhriti. Lord Krishna is introducing to Arjuna. Now you hear from me the threefold understanding of the buddhi and the threefold understanding of the fortitude, means the willpower. These are the faculties we all possess. Buddhi and dhriti, they help us to execute our actions. What should be accepted and what should be given up. All these are explained in detail. Detail means what? He's going to discuss sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva, rajas, and tamas. When you discuss all 3 factors, it becomes complete. Now, why are these 3 factors chosen? Because they are the 3 factors means what? Sattva, rajas, and tamas. Why? Because they are the powers of Maya. Maya means what? Maya means Shakti, power. The power in this body is not visible. For example, Ichha Shakti, you have a desire, a power to desire. What is the power to desire? I want Niratishaya Sukham. Niratishaya Sukham means unbroken happiness. That is my goal. Similarly, I have Jnana Shakti. Jnana Shakti is the Karana Shakti, the Karana Indriyams, that means the organs of knowledge. The faculty of intellect is involved in knowledge. Not only I have a desire, I also have the faculty to get the knowledge, the means to achieve the goal. Then the third power is called as Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti means the energy, the willpower by which we do things. There are many people who start something, but they are not able to hold up. After a few days, they drop the yoga. After a few days, they drop the chanting. After the few days, they drop the Bhagavad Gita. After a few days, they start and then they say, okay, this is not for me. That is mainly because of the lack of willpower, the dhriti. All the three are very important factors, faculties which we have to develop. The Karana Sangraha, here we are talking about the two instruments, which is Buddhi and Dhriti. Buddhi is the Jnana Shakti, Dhriti is the Kriya Shakti. These are the two impellers for action. If I know how to guide these two factors, I will learn how to have Satwik, how to become a Satvikarta, have to have Satvik Jnanam, how to get Satwik actions. See, the way we should understand is that the pure consciousness, which is the actual jiva, okay? That jiva, as soon he wakes up in the morning, he experiences a reflection of that consciousness in the mind primarily. Through that mind, the power gets transferred to the sense organs, and then he sees the external world. Whatever I've said now in the last 1 minute, you must be very clear in this. Now, this is the knowledge which you get from the deeper study of the Upanishads. I may have said this now, but it may not register totally. So this pure consciousness, that is the real study which we will do when we do the Upanishads. When we study in focus, what is this pure consciousness? What is this Atma? Only when the Buddhi goes deeper and deeper into the topic of Atma, the Ajnanam which exists in us, the ignorance which exists in the same Buddhi, that will be destroyed only by a deeper study of who we are. And that comes in the Upanishads. So this mind, it works through two sets of instruments, organs of knowledge. You become, when you use the organs, that means when I am the pure consciousness, but when I use these organs of knowledge, I am called as the Jnata, perceiver. When I use that pure, when I here means what? I, the pure consciousness, when it uses the organs of action, it becomes the Karta. But when I'm not using the organs of action, when I'm not using the sense organs, as I find myself in the sleep state, who am I? I am the pure consciousness, Atma. That is the knowledge. This understanding is very important for moksha. Moksha will not come by doing repeated karmas. You will never have freedom. You will always be having sorrow in life because you will be always thinking that you are the anatma. Moksha comes only through jnana. And what jnanam? Not physics jnanam, not chemistry jnanam, not astronomy, but it is atma jnanam. We use the karanam, buddhi and driti. In Kathopanishad, there is a very beautiful example. I'll just explain to you in a short way, but when you do the Upanishads, you will get the full impact of this. See, the body, when here the body is compared to a chariot. And the traveler who is inside the body, the jiva, is traveling through this chariot to reach the destination. And then he uses the sense organs, which are like the horses. And the roads are what? There are 5 roads which he has to travel, which is the sense object roads. When he travels through this chariot, that in the charioteer, using the buddhi, using his mind, he uses the sense organs and travels. Ultimately, he reaches the destination. That is the example in the Kathopanishad. So the indriyas are compared to the senses. That means the senses are compared to the horses. How many horses are there? 5 horses. Why 5 horses? Because of 5 sense organs. Body is the chariot. The organs of knowledge are the karanas, the horses. Now, what is the rein? The rein is the rein is the mind, which controls the senses. It can, suppose you can use your mind to control, you can control the sense organs. That means if you don't want to see, if your mind says, I will not see this, you will just walk away from there. Suppose you say, my mind says, I will not hear this, you will just walk away. So the mind is a very important factor. But what controls the mind? Buddhi. Buddhi is the Sarathi, the driver of the horses. Mind is the reins. You know, every horse, the 5 horses, you have a rein. The rein is called as the mind. But the reins are controlled by the charioteer. And who is the charioteer? The charioteer is the driver. The driver who's who? The driver is the buddhi. So in real life, if you are able to control the buddhi, then you are able to control the reins, the mind, and when you are able to control the reins, you can control the horses, the sense organs, and then you can go in the right path and go in the right with the right sense objects. So if this buddhi is avigyavan, avigyavan means he is ignorant of the consciousness principle, which is behind the driver, then the whole thing can go wrong. But if he is aware that he is not the driver, there is a consciousness which is not me, which is not that ego factor, then he has got the right buddhi. This is the understanding of buddhi. Now we are trying to understand what is this buddhi. So a person who has the right understanding, he has a mind which is always controlled, his senses are controlled, the horses are controlled, and he is a good charioteer. And one who does not have a proper understanding, this is all from Kathopanishad. Bhagavad Gita is a direct one. They are trying to get the same thing in the Kathopanishad. Now, Bhagavad Gita he is going to present in the 18th chapter in the following verses. So if the understanding, the buddhi is not clear, it is thoughtless, it's impure, then it will never attain the goal, and it will go round and round. The horses will keep going round and round in the same sense objects. That means the mind is uncontrolled. It will be going in the same groove of samsara. Therefore, This karanam, this buddhi should be properly understood. So one of the functions of the buddhi, vritti, is perseverance, which is dhritti. It is a vritti of the buddhi. Buddhi is the instrument. The vritti, the thought in the buddhi is called as dhritti. You should know the difference. As your buddhi, so will be your happiness in life. You will find many people who have got a very strong intellect. You will find that they are happy in life also. They may not be very rich. They may not have all the comforts of life, but you will find that they are happy. What you reap in life is joy or sorrow depends on the buddhi. Buddhi is expression of Jnana Shakti. I told you there are three Shaktis: Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. All these three together, three Shaktis put together is called as Maya Shakti. Invisible. Each one of us has this Shakti in this body. Beyond this Maya Shakti is this Atma, the revealer, the illuminator, the energizer behind the Maya. Dhriti and Utsaha are important to accomplish anything in life. Utsaha, suppose you're not enthusiastic. Okay, we'll see tomorrow. For everything, you'll say, okay, we'll see later on. So that Utsaha is very important. The willpower to hold on, persevere. Yes, I didn't get this well last week, but I will not give up. I will still pursue. Panchadasi was very difficult for me in the first lecture, but I will still pursue. That is called as Dhriti. The one who has got the right willpower and the enthusiasm, he can accomplish anything in life. Only in the furnace of obstacle a person evolves and grows. Next week, we will start verse number 30, Satwika Buddhi. So we have covered 10 verses today, 20 to 30, 20 to 29. So next week, we will do this Satwika Buddhi then we will study after that Sukham, the Dhriti, and then Sukham. So three more factors are there. Then Lord Krishna will explain to us how we should do duty as per our ashrama in life, brahmachari, vanaprastha, grihastha, what are the duties? Each one should do their own duty, not others' duty. Then ultimately he will say, you have to surrender everything to the Lord. There is a higher power. There is a cosmic power. Surrender to that cosmic power. You will find everything goes on well in your life. He teaches all this to Arjuna and then finally asks Arjuna, Arjuna, is your moha gone? Is your delusion gone? Because in the second chapter, you were so down because of wrong thinking. And then Arjuna says, my delusion is gone. I am now ready to fight. And then he goes and wins the war. We all have to be, we are the same Arjuna in life, all of us. We have to win the battle of life. The battle of life is not easy. There are many ups and downs, many ups and downs for each one of us. The life bashes us because of prarabdha karma. But Atma Vidya, the moment I have this illuminating consciousness principle which is there in me, I get the knowledge of that, I can face anything in life. This is the strength of the Bhagavad Gita. The study of this gives us the strength. To whatever extent we have got that knowledge, we'll be happy in life. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay. There are no questions on the chat box. But if you have any questions yourself, you can unmute yourself and you can proceed with your question.
Pranam Shigarji.
Yeah, Imacho.
My Krishna alone exists. That's a tamasic vision. My Krishna alone exists. That is a tamasic vision.
My Krishna means we are talking about, those, there are certain groups who are fanatical. Fanatical means there is not only you believe in Krishna, but you also believe that none of the other gods exist.
So but when this vision includes me and I exclude the word my, then can it be termed as Satwik vision? Krishna alone exists.
Yes, you're right.
Me.
Yeah, Krishna alone exists. Yes, when you remove the me,
basically I'm replacing the word Krishna with consciousness.
Yes, then it's perfect. Then it is Satwik. Absolutely correct.
Okay, thank you.
If Krishna for you means pure consciousness, you are brilliant. You have understood the Bhagavad Gita completely. Well done. I'm talking of those people who believe that it is only my, my small deity which is there in my village, only that is there, nothing else exists. Everything else is wrong, and you go on criticizing others. That is what is called as tamasic.
Clear.
Okay, good. Anybody else has a question? Yeah, but
I need help here. I want you to explain or otherwise recapture the three, the Satwik, Rajasic, and the Tamasic of Sannyasa, which you mentioned.
Yes.
I feel a little bit lost there. Just want you to recapture it.
Okay. So you're talking about the three types of sannyasa, right?
Correct.
Okay, sannyasa, see, first of all, you should understand that sannyasa means there are three, there is vidvat sannyasa, there is vividisha sannyasa. There are two different types of sannyasa. And there is a third type which is called as karma yoga sannyasa. That is the starting point. Now, a karma yoga sannyasa is the one which is the starting point for all of us, and that is what is being explained here in these in this chapter. Primarily in this chapter, what is being explained is how to do sannyasa with reference to karma yoga. Now, when we say sannyasa, you're talking about renunciation. Then I am, there are three types. Okay, your question is what is Satwik sannyasa, what is Rajasic sannyasa, and what is Tamasic sannyasa.
Yes.
Now, sannyasa, do you recall which verse it is?
I think it was just before this, right?
Yes, it was the verses which basically talked about sannyasa is verse number 7, 8, and 9. Now, I will tell you about the tamasic sannyasa which Lord Krishna explained first.
Hmm.
Tamasic sannyasa means that due to ignorance, I drop my nitya karma itself. Nitya karma means what? Simple, very simple is I don't do but duty to my family. I don't do daily puja at home. I don't even, I don't light up a lamp in my house. This is called as tamasic sannyasa. That means I give up wrongly.
Hmm.
Is this clear?
Okay.
Okay. Now, Rajasic sannyasa is the same giving up of the nitya karmas and the naimitya karmas. Naimitya karma, nitya karma is daily. Naimitya karma means special occasions like marriage and the other
42.
other functions which you do, other samskaras which you do from different at different times in your life.
Yep.
Now, what you do in Rajasic sannyasa is that you give it up not because of your delusion in your mind, but because you feel that it is going to cause me some harm. Due to fear that I will be affected. For example, you don't attend some duties. You don't conduct your child's upanyasam, or you don't conduct your marriage of everything because I am going to be affected. I don't have money. I can't see I will have to spend money for all that. It is due to the fear. That means Rajasic sannyasa means you give it up with because of bodily strain.
Hmm.
Then the Satwik renunciation is the renunciation of the results of Nitya Karma. Result of Nitya Karma means what? I will get, see, for example, you go to a temple. I do that Nitya Karma every Saturday. You go to a temple and say, Lord, give me this. I want this benefit. So what happens is you are asking some result from the Lord. And the Satwik renunciation means you don't even ask for the Lord for these specific results. And you say, okay, the Lord will take care of me. See, the Lord who has given the body to me, he knows what I need and he will provide for me. So you try to renounce the karma phalam. Nitya karma phalam. You still go to the Lord. You still go and visit the temple. You still do the nitya pujas. But you give up asking the Lord every day. Oh, come on, Lord, give me this, give me that, give me that. I want my daughter to get exam. I want this to finish. I will break 10 coconuts. If I come, I will do 20 rounds. All that is what is called as Satwik sannyasa. Now, I am explaining to you this at a lower level. This is what is being taught in the Bhagavad Gita in verse 7, 8, and 9. There is a slightly higher understanding also. Now, the higher understanding is for senior people who are trying to understand what is the real renunciation which Bhagavad Gita is teaching a senior student. At a junior level, yes, I will be in a karma yoga lifestyle. In a grahastha, I will be I'll be still be doing karmas. I'll be still doing rituals. I'll be doing all that. At that level, I understand giving up the results is the Satwik. Giving up the doing the karma itself 100% because it is going to harm me, the body. I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning for doing this karma. So I will be inconvenienced. That is called as Rajasic. And then giving up due to ignorance of their value. Nobody has taught me that there is a value in doing this karma. Due to ignorance, I drop it. That is called as tamasic renunciation. But now let me explain to you the higher level of renunciation. That higher level of renunciation is called as moksha. That is the ultimate. You see, Bhagavad Gita is a moksha shastram. It is also the yoga shastram. What I have explained to you is the yoga shastra part first. Now I'm going to explain to you what is moksha shastra, renunciation with reference to moksha shastra. When you are thinking that I am a student of the Bhagavad Gita, I am not happy just getting a good control over my life, but I want to reach the ultimate knowledge, which the Bhagavad Gita is telling me that there is some other goal. That goal is called as moksha. Now, that goal is moksha. When I say moksha, this is something which happens not at the body level, not even at the intellect level. That means not at the subtle body level. Now, this moksha means it happens at the karana sharira level. I'm now taking you to a very, very deep topic in the Vedas. At the karana sharira level, the causal level, now I'm going to explain to you. When you are, this is the knowledge. This is an actual knowledge. If you get this knowledge, you're free. What is this knowledge? The knowledge is, I am not only this gross body, I am not only this subtle body of the emotions and the concepts, I also have a karana sharira, causal body. In many people, they don't go to this level of karana sharira. When it comes to karana shariram, I must analyze the sleep state completely. The sleep state, when I analyze completely, I will get to know the secret of this life. Because that is where the ignorance is hidden. You see, this is the karana shariram is not at the subconscious level. It is very, very deep in our personality. And that is, you see, what happens is, how does this ignorance goes? How does this ignorance goes in an individual? Ignorance is the root cause of all our problems. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of my real nature. And this is the topic which is explained very beautifully in a text called as Panchadasi in chapter 1. There are 3 or 4 verses there, verse number 3, 4, 5, 6. What it does is, it takes our waking state, dream state, and sleep state. It analyzes. The teacher, the guru, teaches the student there, and he says, your sleep state is not a normal sleep which you just take it. What the sleep state stands for? In the sleep state, you say, I experience nothing. That nothing I experienced is not nothing, but it is undifferentiated, homogeneous karana sharira, which is homogeneous ignorance. It is a bhava, it is a positive thing, it is existing. That means the whole world of waking and dream, it collapses into the ignorant state and it becomes one undifferentiated homogeneous mass of consciousness. This homogeneous mass of consciousness is called as ajnanam. It is called as ignorance. Now, what the teacher tells you is that this ignorance is known to me because every day morning when I get up, I say, I had a good sleep. I didn't know anything. So this Karana Shariram, this ignorance, is a clue to tell me who I am. And it will tell me that in that Karana, in the sleep state, there is a factor of mind. And that is the awareness principle, that is the consciousness, which is aware that there is nothing in the world. It is all dark, it is all blank, but I am there. I am the witness to that ignorance. So this is the renunciation, which the final renunciation is. I learn to drop the physical body of the waking state and the world. I learn to drop the dream state body and its world. I learn to drop the object of knowledge in the sleep world, which is the ajnanam. This is called as the final, ultimate renunciation, which is leading to the moksha, liberation. This is called as Satwik renunciation of a Vidvat Sannyasa, the person who has complete knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. He knows that he is not the Shariram, he is the Shariri. That means he is the consciousness principle. Now, the consciousness principle, this is the last lesson you should learn in Bhagavad Gita and in the Upanishads. The last lesson is what? This consciousness, which is the witness to that undifferentiated condition of the subtle body and the gross body into the causal body, the witness of that is the same witness in the waking state. The witness has not changed. It is the same witness which is watching your dream state also. It is watching your waking state also. It is watching your sleep state also. So your consciousness, yesterday your consciousness watching your sleep state. Day before yesterday also your consciousness watching your sleep state. Sleep state has come and gone. Waking state has come and gone. Dream state has come and gone. But you, the consciousness, has not changed. That illuminating principle, that consciousness, awareness principle has not changed. I learn to hold on to that consciousness as my real self. That is called as the ultimate renunciation. So what we learn in Tattva Bodha as renunciation is Vairagyam and Viveka. These are all at a very, very junior level. At the Tattva Bodha level, you want to know who you are. But today, after this Bhagavad Gita, when I finished 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, and I want to know what is this renunciation, what is this moksha which Bhagavad Gita is talking about, what is this, what is the real essence of this Bhagavad Gita, I will learn to know that the renunciation with which they are talking about is dropping the notion that I am this body. That notion will get dropped only when the ajnanam goes away. Ajnanam means the ignorance of the sleep state should go away. And that ignorance is the cause of the projection of the waking state. When that ignorance goes away, your projections of the mind in the waking state will become less and less and less and less. Your mind will become more and more quiet, more and more sattvic. That wheeling which is there, that avarna shakti which was there, in the sleep state is gone, no more there. When the Avarna Shakti is gone, I am called as free person. I no longer have any doubt that I am the pure consciousness always. You see, when I know that I am the conscious being in 24 hours, during the sleep state, I come to know that I am existing and I exist without the, and in the sleep state, because of this knowledge of the sleep state, as I have explained to you now, I come to know that there is a witness. That witness consciousness is there. Yes. What the Upanishads teach you is that witness consciousness does not change when the mind comes in the waking state. When the mind comes, immediately you see a body. You see the whole world because of the sense organs. So if I know that yesterday I was that witness consciousness, today also I am the same witness consciousness. Witness consciousness has not changed even when the body was taken and when the body was dropped. Therefore, what? I am the eternal consciousness. That is the renunciation which will give you, which leads to moksha. Okay, I think I went too fast and tried to explain. Yeah, yes. But is it clear now?
Yeah. I think you gave a good explanation, and it was engrossing to listen to that also.
Yes.
So basically, I think you are trying to, because I heard one example given by Swamiji.
Yes.
Quite correlates to what you are saying.
Yes.
What you are saying is, while the sun is the principle which lights and makes everything visible.
Yes.
But that such a powerful sun or its light cannot make the darkness visible.
Correct.
So that darkness is visible only to the consciousness, saying that I see the darkness, whereas, and I can also see the light. That is which we see. Right?
You see the light, you see that ignorance of darkness, that is the Karana Shariram is only the Sakshi Bhasyam. Sakshi Bhasyam means the sense organs do not have any it cannot illumine your ignorance. The mind cannot illumine your ignorance. Okay, so who illumines that ignorance is the question. There has to be a factor in you which is responsible to tell you that there was that blankness which I experienced. Who is that which experienced that blankness? The answer to that question will be not the mind, not the senses, because they are all passive.
Yeah.
It has to be some other light. That light is what I am. Unless and until the ignorance goes through the study of the Upanishads and some higher texts, then only your intellect will get convinced of Atma.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Okay, Malati, you have something? Yeah, I'll come to you, Jacqueline. Yeah.
Malati first or Jacqueline first?
Yeah, Jacqueline. Okay, Jacqueline.
Okay, Malati, I go first. Okay. It's okay. Mr. Shekhar, I have a question. Being and doing, and Atma and mind. Definitely, being is the Atma and doing is the mind.
Exactly, correct.
So, and it is so profound that even though the doing is the mind, but it is the Atma that would illuminate the mind to do.
Correct.
And therefore, whether I want to say I am a human being or I am an Atma or I am an awareness, but this is intertwined. And when it is intertwined, so I may say, who am I? Okay, I'm Atma. But when I am Atma, and I'm reminding myself that I am Atma, which is illuminate myself. So how? So what I'm saying that is it's profound that I'm confused.
Okay, it's a very good question. It's a very, very normal question which all seekers ask. What you are asking is a very, very normal question. See, what we should understand is, suppose you have a torchlight. This is given by Swami Chinmayananda in his example. He says, suppose there's a torchlight. Through the torchlight, you are seeing the world outside. Okay? It is lighting the world.
Yes.
Now, the torchlight wants to know what brand of battery that torchlight is. The light wants to know the battery. So you are trying to say that mind is operating, but you don't know what is that which is. I want to know that light. So when you try to analyze your mind, means you try to remove the battery to see that. See, unless until you remove the battery, you cannot see the brand. In a torchlight, suppose you want to know the battery brand of the, suppose is it a Duracell, is it a Eveready, is it you want to know the battery.
Yeah.
So so the moment you remove the battery, the light is gone. That means you cannot see.
Yeah.
So similarly, through the mind, when you try to understand this consciousness and you try to remove the battery, remove the consciousness, or you try to understand the power behind the mind, you cannot see it.
Okay.
That is what happens in the sleep state.
Yeah.
You see, in the sleep state, the mind wants to know who is this. It doesn't know.
Yeah.
The mind wants to know who is behind this mind. And it doesn't have an answer. That is why we say that the answer is not given by the sense organs or the mind. It is given by the Shruti. Shruti means it is given by Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad. They are the pramana. They are the sense organs to know this Atma. So don't try to understand Atma with trying to understand Atma through the mind. You will never succeed.
Yeah.
Never succeed. That is why you're saying it's all confusing, you know?
Yeah, the reason I ask is because of course, English being and doing, you know. So being is automatically just like what you say, there are 7 billion.
Consciousness. Being means consciousness. Doing means using your mind.
Yeah.
So you need to be just a being to say, I am the Atma, I am the being, I am the consciousness. That is the correct understanding.
Yes.
The moment you say, I am a doer of action, that means you're lost your knowledge of Atma.
But I'm telling my mind that I am a being, right? I'm telling
Yes,
my mind.
no, you're not telling the mind. The mind is telling you, you have to use the mind to say that I am Atma.
Oh, yes.
Mind is an instrument which will, in order to see, the pure being cannot even say, because it is, the pure being doesn't have a mind. Pure being doesn't have sense organs.
So I'm asking my mind to say I am. Not
Yes.
that I am a consciousness saying that I am, but I'm telling my mind,
yes.
I am, and because of that, I tell my mind to say I am, and then the process itself is, if I have too many things in my mind, when I say I am, and it will drop subsequently and become not many thoughts in my mind.
Yes, it becomes a witness.
All right. Okay. Okay.
The mind drops to becomes the witness. Like when you see the moonlight, what do you know? It is the sun's light which is reflected on the moon.
Yes.
So similarly, when the mind is saying that I am Brahman, I am Atma, you should know that it is that this what I am experiencing as the mind is saying is because there is a consciousness behind it.
Oh, I'm telling my mind that I am.
That's
I am
all.
a consciousness.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Okay, because I'm like, okay, I am telling my mind that I am or I am Satchit Ananda.
It is the mind, yes, it is the mind which is saying, but it is only manifesting consciousness.
Okay.
It is not revealing consciousness, but it is manifesting. The moonlight manifests sunlight.
Okay.
The moon does not have light of its own.
Yes. Okay.
It is the sunlight which is falling on the moon, which I am calling it moonlight.
Okay.
Similarly, the mind, the thought which is there in the mind is a manifestation of the Atma.
Okay. Okay. For now, yes. I think I take too much of your time. Appreciate.
Okay.
Appreciate.
All right. Yeah, Malathi. I can't hear you. Just can you?
Okay.
Yeah, now it's okay. Yeah, now it's there.
I don't know how many of here understand Hindi. Still, I have a very beautiful quote about Krishna, and so I want to tell
Yeah,
that.
go ahead.
पहले गाली सुनने के बाद सिर काटने की शक्ति होने के बाद भी 99 और गाली सुनने का सामर्थ्य है, वो कृष्ण है। सुदर्शन जैसा आयुध होने के बाद भी यदि हाथ में हमेशा मुरली है तो वो कृष्ण है। द्वारका की वैभव होने के बाद भी यदि सुदामा जैसा मित्र है, वो कृष्ण है। मृत्यु के पन पर मौजूद होने पर भी यदि कोई नाचता है तो वो कृष्ण है। सर्व समर्थ होने के बाद भी यदि सारथी बने हैं, वो कृष्ण है। These are the qualities of a Satwik mind. So I thought it is apt to recite here. That's why I did
very
that.
Beautiful. Yeah, what you have said is very beautiful. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, anybody else has a question or anything?
Secretary,
Yeah, Babai.
this earlier you were saying the chariot is a body and the 5 horses are the senses.
Yes.
Then who is controlling the rails? Is it the Atma or the
Buddhi is the controller of the reins, the horses. The horses are the mind. The reins are the mind. The horses are the sense organs. The controller, the charioteer is the buddhi, intellect.
Oh, so we call it Atma also, okay, is it?
No, Atma is not the buddhi. Atma is the one which is revealing the buddhi. Buddhi is the instrument which I have. That means my intellect, not my mind. Mind is the controller of the sense organs. Is the reins. Mind is the reins. The actual horses are the sense organs. That means the horses are like the ears, ears, eyes, skin, tongue. They are the horses. But the buddhi is the one which is controlling the horses, which is controlling the sense organs through the mind.
One more thing, Secretary, this karma is a duty and karta is also a duty, right?
No, karta is the doer.
Doer.
Yes, you see, who is doing the duty? There is somebody who is different than the duty, performer. Performer is different than the performance. The organs are acting. My leg is acting, my hand is doing the puja, it is doing the archana. But there is a person inside which is actually the real doer. That is the karta, that is the Babubai. Suppose I go and offer flowers in the Chinmay mission, the karta is the doer. That is the Babubai. That is the Babubai who is associated with the body. So he is using the body to go and place some flower in the front of Lord Krishna. But who is revealing this? Who is revealing this? In what light can I say that Babubai is going? The light is called as Atma.
Oh.
The light which is showing me that this body is going and offering this flower, that light is called as Atma.
Oh, not the karta, is it?
No, no. Karta is the one who is inside the body.
I see.
Who is attached to the body and is attached to the hands, to the legs, to the eyes. That is the karta.
I see. Okay.
Now you understand. You see, for example, you say, I am Babubai. Babubai means the one who is attached, means who thinks that this is the body. Suppose you say, I am not Babubai, I am Atma. Suppose you say this, then what happens? You are saying, I am the light in which Babubai's body is being seen. I am the light in which I see the idol of Lord Krishna. That light is going through the eyes to see Lord Krishna.
Okay.
Now you understand?
Yeah, Secretary.
Okay.
There's one more thing, this
Yeah.
lack of willpower, how do we overcome it?
A lack of willpower, how to overcome is, okay, this is a very big topic. We will, next week, we are going to study the willpower. After we study the willpower, the answer will come.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
next week, you ask me the same question again.
Okay.
I want to explain what is the 3 types of willpower, what is the buddhi, and what, then you ask me the same question if your question doesn't get answered.
Okay. Thank you, Secretary.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
All
Good
right.
night.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
I think over 8 o'clock, I think.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. So next week, let's start with the buddhi and dhriti and sukha. 3 factors we are going to study next week. Thank you and good night.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.